Hello everybody, it's Startup here. Welcome to my unboxing and review for Star Wars Legion Airspeeder. This is the Rebels' first heavy, and this isn't included in the core set, so you will have to buy this separately. So let's take a close look at the packaging.
Okay, so taking a close look at the T-47 Airspeeder. Obviously this is for the Rebel Alliance as signified by the Rebel logo, and if you take a look at the key art, I love what Fantasy Flight is doing. They're changing up the convention for what we know as the typical environments for the vehicles. So as we know, the Airspeeders are typically seen on Hoth, but here they look like they are in Beggar's Canyon on Tatooine, which is pretty much a callback to Rogue Squadron, one of the levels you can pilot an Airspeeder, I believe. So on the top we have Legion as always, and we have the key art on the side. We have the unpainted version of the miniature as always, and we do have the possible weapon upgrades. And what's new on this vehicle is it shows a size comparison with the actual little mini Rebel Trooper, so pretty cool there. You see what you're getting as far as size. And as always, we do have all the tokens and the cards represented there. So let's take a close look at all of those. Okay, so looking at the parts of the ship themselves, I am very surprised about how most of this is put together. So let's take a close look at the actual bulk of the Airspeeder here. So this is bigger than I expected. This is a nice size miniature for the Airspeeder here. And wow, look at that detail. Very cool. So obviously the laser cannons are detached as well as the harpoon and whatnot. There you have nice little details in the actual hull of the ship, the windows, very nice. Here we have the miscellaneous parts. You got the air flaps, so that's pretty neat. You can customize it that way. You have the harpoon, the air buzzer, and as I mentioned before, the laser cannons. And we have a nice tall clear stand for the base. Here is the base. This is a heavy vehicle. This is a very large base. And here are the tokens. We have the dodge, the aim, we have the vehicle damage tokens, we have obviously the activation token there. Alright, so here's our unit card for the T-47 Airspeeder, and this thing is pretty good from just looking at the stats. Again, I haven't played with it yet, but here we have an arsenal too, so you can automatically attack with more than one weapon on the ship. So you can fire your laser cannons, and your air buzzer has cover 1 for speeder. It also has speeder 2, so it can just ignore anything that is lower or up to 2 movement tool, I believe. Look at it, it's got 7 hull or 7 health. That's really great with a resilience of 5, so you can take some damage. It has a defense surge, very nice. And its main cannon has 3 red dice and 3 black dice plus impact 3. So this thing is really good as far as going up against vehicles. Okay, so taking a look at the upgrade cards, this is really cool. We have our first pilot for a vehicle. This is Wedge Antilles. You have to exhaust the card because you see there that arrow, and it basically allows you to go 360 degrees in a pivot. Usually pivots are, I believe, 90 degrees, so interesting there. For the weapons, we have the power harpoon, the tow cable, which is pretty neat. You automatically shoot, and it makes those vehicles that you shoot at basically have to turn 90 degrees for a pivot, so it's a good thing to put them out of targeting range and whatnot. Then we have the ground buzzer, very nice, 4 black dice. It has to fire from the rear firing arc, so we're getting use out of that, which is pretty neat. It's got a short range though, only 1 to 2. But then we also have the long range comm link, because your speeder is going to be fast, so it's going to be usually a lot of the time out of range, so your commander can contact it. And it's also got the comm jammer to disrupt communications for your enemies. And finally, as always, we have the instruction manual for putting this together. It looks pretty simple.
So the assembly on the Airspeeder is pretty quick, pretty simple. It's just with the stand itself that gives me a lot of trouble, because it just doesn't sit very well on the stand, and it's very frustrating if you're in the middle of the game and you're trying to position the Airspeeder and boom, it just falls off the stand. So be aware of that. I know there are people out there on the internet saying that they somehow magnetize it, so you can look into doing that. As far as painting, I used my own scheme, and it's a little bit of celestial gray mixed with ceramic white from Citadel Paints. I used this dry brushing technique similar to what Sarastro does with his ATST. So getting into the different kinds of tactics with the Airspeeder, very similar to the speeder bikes for the Empire. It's got that compulsory move, so it can move up to 3 times. It takes a lot of practice to use this thing, and especially because it has 2 firing arcs. It's got that rear firing arc that you can have that ground buzzer, or you can have that tow cable, plus it's got that very powerful front cannon. So you're going to want to do a lot of strafing runs, get in and out, take out some infantry, and I just can't see a lot of validity behind using the tow cable most of the time, because especially if you're versing a force of, let's say, mostly infantry, it's not going to be very useful against them. So I try to just go with the ground buzzer most of the time, and you can take wedge Antilles to help spin your airspeeder around a little bit better. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts on the airspeeder. It's one of those miniatures that you're going to have to play around with a couple games to really feel out what its role is. So if you guys like this video, let's talk about it in the comment section below. As the Rebels, do you use the T-47 Airspeeder? And as the Imperials, what do you do to counter it? I want to discuss that with you guys down there in the comment section below. If you like this video and you like all of Star Wars, you might want to subscribe to the channel so that way you never miss another video by me. I talk about the comics, the novels, the TV series, video games, anything else that connects to the movies on a weekly basis. So there you have it. My name is Star Raptor. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.